Sports Lodge with Roger Lodge. Here on Angels Radio and the Angels Radio app.
What a weekend of college football for our locals. SC loses to Notre Dame in South Bend. Oh, that's too bad. Jeremiah Love ran wild on the Trojan defense, and the Bruins' feel-good story continued with a 20-17 win out here at the Rose Bowl against Maryland. It certainly wasn't pretty, but I'm sure Tim Schipper and Jerry Neuheisel and Nico Iamaleava will take it. And joining me to discuss the weekend for our locals is college football's utmost gridiron guru from Fifth Down CFB on X, where you can sign up for his newsletter at fifthdowncfb.com. We welcome our pal Mark Schipper back into the Sports Lodge. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing great, Roger. How are you doing? I appreciate that introduction. I like being a guru.
Thanks for jumping on here. Let's start in South Bend. So much for all that money they gave to their defensive coordinator, DeAnton Lynn, with what the heck happened to SC's defense? They gave up over 300 yards on the ground, including 228 to Jeremiah Love. Was that more schematic, or was the Irish offensive line just too physical for SC's front?
Notre Dame was just tougher. USC, DeAnton Lynn, the defensive coordinator you're talking about, is a very aggressive guy. He likes to bring a lot of heat. He likes to send guys. But if you can get through that initial attack, you're going to find space. And then if you're physically tough against an aggressive defense, you can find holes and space to run and throw. And they didn't really need to throw too much because they ran all over the Trojans. I mean, set multiple series records. They set a Notre Dame Stadium record. When you look down and see 306 rushing yards on a USC defense, the Trojans aren't used to getting hammered like that, and particularly not in a big rivalry game.
How bad of a loss was that for SC and Lincoln Riley?
Well, not a terrible loss in terms of how the season is shaping up for them. You know, both their losses are against good teams. The Illinois game they lost earlier was close. This one was a little bit of a beating, but with the rest of their schedule, it's difficult, but not a vicious gauntlet. So if they win out, USC will definitely have an opportunity to still get into that playoff. So I would say they got a lot left to play for.
And that leaves the game up in Eugene against the Oregon Ducks as an absolute must victory, correct?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They're going to need to win out for certain, barring, college football is a crazy, chaotic game. So I don't want to say anything for certain, but they really should win out if they want to have a great shot to make the playoff. And, yeah, they need to beat Oregon because that's the best team left on the schedule, and they need a big win.
And I know Jaden Mayava had been pretty good for the Trojans up until Saturday, but against Notre Dame, 22 of 42 for 328, 2 touchdowns, but 2 picks. That last one, and I know it was desperation mode, but that was so ill-advised. But do we give the SC quarterback a pass for weather? It was pretty stormy out there.
Yeah, tough conditions to pass in for sure. It wasn't all that cold, but the rain was falling steadily in the second half, so not great conditions to pass. I would say Lincoln Riley, who gets a lot of credit as being a genius tier play caller, did not have the best night calling for USC. USC is down a couple of top running backs in that stable, so obviously that's going to hurt their running game. But he had a tough night, so he's going to have to bounce back for that and keep the confidence high, and he's going to need his head coach to put him in better spots to succeed.
Yeah, SC ran the ball 29 times for just 68 yards. How impressed were you with the big boys up front for Notre Dame?
Yeah, Notre Dame's defense is really tough. And their front seven, as you're talking about, their front six are big physical players. And it's a tough defense to beat under perfect conditions. And if you can't establish a run at all and you're going to throw in the rain in Notre Dame Stadium at night, you're going to limit your opportunities, and you're going to create a lot of situations where your guys can make mistakes, turn over the ball, et cetera. And that's really what happened to USC is some very untimely turnovers, and they just couldn't establish enough strength on offense, so they kind of got overpowered.
So how about the Irish? Losses to Miami and A&M to start this season. They come back with wins against Purdue, Arkansas, Boise State, NC State, and then SC. Navy, Pitt, Syracuse, at Stanford to finish up. Is there a path for them to get back into this playoff thing?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yep, Notre Dame's still alive. The remainder of that schedule is not particularly strong, as you're kind of pointing out here, naming off these names. Boston College is way down. Navy's tough, but it's a mismatch talent-wise. Pittsburgh's playing pretty tough, but again, mismatch talent-wise. Syracuse, Stanford. Notre Dame should go undefeated. They should be attempting to make statements in every one of those games, though that's difficult to do. That's kind of media speak. It's much more difficult to kind of go out and say we're going to make a statement and do it. But if Notre Dame wins out, plays well, all they need are really a few things to fall into place outside of their control. And if they do, they'll be right there in the playoff chase when it comes time for selections.
Love talking college football with our college football gridiron guru. It's Mark Schipper. Hey, tell my audience how they can get that newsletter of yours.
Yeah, if you go to, find me on Twitter, Fifth Down CFB, link to my website, which is fifthdowncfb.com. Just drop your email in the box up top, and you'll be on the list. It's as simple as that.
Hey, man, you just mentioned Notre Dame Stadium at night. You see that big touchdown Jesus on the wall. It's just a beautiful venue there. It really is amazing. When you talk about the favorite college football stadium for you, you sat inside of it. You couldn't believe you were there because of its pure awesomeness. What yard are we talking about?
What yard are we talking about?
Yeah, your favorite.
Oh, which spot? Well, you're talking about Notre Dame Stadium. That is one of the best right there. And night games are cool there, but I would say I prefer day games at Notre Dame Stadium. That campus is so beautiful. Upper Midwest in the fall, the weather is perfect. The tailgates, the atmosphere, the band marching through campus, just the whole setting up there is superb. But, when you're talking college football across the Midwest and then down in the Southeast, Michigan Stadium, the Swamp where the Florida Gators play, Bryant-Denny, all these places are there's a regional flavor to all of them, and they're all just if you're looking to spend a fall Saturday doing something memorable, a college football stadium is the place to be. And I'll mention Husky Stadium out west as well, up in Seattle, another fantastic place.
Well, one of my favorites is the Rose Bowl out here in Southern California, where my Bruins took care of business against Maryland to get the 3 wins in a row. So after starting 0-4, wins against Penn State, Michigan State, and Maryland, I know it's going to be tough at Indiana coming up. But what are your thoughts on the just absolutely incredible turnaround that Tim Schipper has going on in Westwood?
Well, it's amazing to see, over the decades we've seen head coaches fired and interim coaches come in and teams get a little hot or finish the season strong and maybe make a bowl game or get some momentum for the next year. But I would say with this UCLA team, the turnaround from a national joke and punchline to, really being talked about an 0-12 season and maybe the worst team in the Power Four. And, for year 2 in the Big Ten for UCLA, that's terrible timing to come into a big prestigious league like that and just humiliate yourself. To turn it around like this with the 3 straight victories over top 10 Penn State, on the road Michigan State, and then grind one out against Maryland at home, with, as we're seeing, the crowds are picking back up at the Rose Bowl very quickly. That was the biggest crowd of the year by far. It's been kind of unbelievable, Roger, to tell you the truth. I'm watching this stuff happen, and it's like I kind of can't believe my eyes. So incredible job by Schipper and Neuheisel to get that thing turned around so quickly.
If Tim Schipper had a very impressive showing against the Hoosiers coming up this weekend, maybe they beat Nebraska, have a good showing at Ohio State in the shoe. Maybe they beat Washington and pull off a win against USC. Could Tim Schipper hang on to this gig?
Well, if that scenario happened, I think they'd have to really consider him. That would be it's, what's happened already. That would be like a times 4 multiplier if he pulled all that off. So, yeah, I think he's already earned the right for just a full, straight up interview. Present your long term plan for the program. Who would you hire? What do you want to do, et cetera. I think Jerry Neuheisel has probably earned the opportunity to interview, which he was not given the last time when he may have been amongst that group, maybe the guy with the best ideas and the most potential. So, yeah, if it continues on that pace, I mean, I think if you let the guy go sign somewhere else, you're going to catch a lot of flack for it. So, yeah, he would probably stick around under that scenario.
Are you hearing of a short list for UCLA head coach?
No, it's been kind of close to the vest to this point. I haven't heard a short list, and I'm not even sure what direction they're going. I think this Schipper scenario caught everyone by such surprise that they're probably having some conversations about how they want to proceed with it, because now it's a little bit of a delicate situation, and you don't want to make an emotional decision. This has been in a very emotional 4 weeks since he got here, and since this has turned around. It's the sort of trampoline effect from down at the bottom to bouncing up so high. There's some very tough games ahead, and they need to see how the program performs and how things go the rest of the way. So, no, I'm not sure right now what direction they're going.
You see, that's why you are the gridiron guru, because I'm all emotional, but you're absolutely right. You can't make the next hire a very emotional one. It has to be level-headed. You got to think it over, bring in a guy that's been there, done that, with a long history of turning programs around. That's not saying Tim Schipper can't go earn it, but I'm glad to have you on to kind of talk some sense into me. Mark Schipper, everybody. He's on X. Go follow him on X. He is also has a terrific newsletter at fifthdowncfb.com. Mark, appreciate the time as always. Thanks so much for working me in.
Talk to you soon, all right?
Look forward to it. Mark Schipper right there, everybody. He's on X. Go follow Mark Schipper, CFB on X, Fifth Down CFB.